such an exciting kind of winter for you at the World Cup.
Yeah.
How was it out there for you? How do you feel Ireland went?
Yeah, I think we did a good job out there. I think we obviously went out there with ambitions to qualify for the quarter-finals, and we didn't quite make it, but I think overall, and looking back on it, that we did a fairly good job. We were competitive in nearly every game, and we sort of showed the cricketing world that we can compete against the big nations and win matches as well. So I think we looked fairly good out there, and I'm just looking forward to the season ahead with Middlesex as well.
Given how well you guys did, is it a bit annoying then that the ICC is turning around and saying there's only going to be sort of limiting the amount of associate sides?
I can only comment on playing the cricket. Like we play as hard as possible. We can only play as well as we can on the field. We have nothing to do with their decisions. So from a player's point of view, like we just play as hard as we can and try and win as many games as possible, and hopefully show the likes of the ICC that we are capable of playing. Yeah, hopefully in future years to come that it'll be slightly easier for us to qualify in future events, and hopefully at least have a qualification process to get through.
And that England game, is there? Yeah. Can you describe how it felt for you and for the team, and like what it means?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult right now. It was obviously a good month ago now, so yeah. It was just an unbelievable feat, really. I think it was Kevin O'Brien's knock when we were 110 for 5 was something special, and something that will definitely live in the memory for a long time to come.
Definitely. Did you have much of a chance to chat with people back home? Like, do you know kind of what impact it made at home? Yeah,
well, when we arrived back home after the World Cup, we had a very nice reception. Firstly, when we got off the plane, and then secondly that night in Dublin, there was a hell of a lot of supporters, and we couldn't believe it. And there was a few like booklets with collages of all the front headlines, news and stuff on the front of the papers. So we just couldn't believe how big an impact it made back home, and hopefully it'll boost the sort of figures playing cricket in Ireland now, and hopefully we'll move forward.
How is the domestic setup there? Has it had much of a chance to change over the last? Have you seen much of it over the last kind of 5 years?
Yeah, I've been involved with it a good bit now. That's obviously where I started my cricket, in the club scene, and it feels good to be coming from the club level and show that our development, we can develop into good cricketers from the club scene. But obviously there's a long way to go, and hopefully the clubs will continue to develop. I think the 2007 win against Pakistan, it increased the levels of players playing cricket in Ireland by maybe 50%, maybe even 100%, and hopefully that will do the same again with that win against England.
Yeah. And for you personally, it was kind of a stop-start until that brilliant Netherlands game. Yeah. Where do you feel you need to improve?
Hopefully when I just building innings really, and maybe taking the time a bit more and getting those big scores. It was almost a relief to get that 100 at the end of the tournament, but it was obviously a nice feeling to get 100 in a World Cup. But yeah, there's always a lot of things to improve on, and hopefully with my time at Middlesex here, I'll learn a lot from the coaches and from playing cricket nearly every day. Then hopefully down the years, down the line, I'll become a better cricketer from it.
And what do you reckon you need to do to get to like first team cricket this summer? Is that your aim?
Yeah, I think the answer to that is just score as many runs as possible, to be honest. Hopefully I get a bit of luck, and you never know, I might get a chance in the 2020s or the CB40s, but that's not only what I want to be able to play in. I want to be able to push on and try and work myself into that 4-day side, maybe down the years, and see if I can improve as a cricketer all round, not just in the limited overs.
And in the past you've said about your commitment to playing for Ireland, is the lure of Test cricket too much? Do you want to change allegiance and follow the others?
To be honest with you, I can't really comment on that now, but there's a long way to go, and at the minute I'm just focusing on Ireland commitments, and we've got a good few fixtures coming up during the winter. I think we're going to Zimbabwe and Kenya in the winter, and we've also got a big game against England in the summer, and there's a long time to go, and there's Middlesex of course for the next while hopefully, so there's a hell of a lot more to think about than that. It's a long way down the future.